Have you ever stopped to think why some people earn little and still manage to save money, while others earn a lot and still live broke? Now let me ask you a very direct question, and be honest with yourself. Where is your money going? Because at the end of the month, it simply disappears. It comes into your account, you even feel a sense of relief, but a few days later, it feels like everything is gone. And the worst part? You don't even know exactly how it happened. Now pay close attention to this, because it might be the most important thing you'll hear today. The problem is not your salary. And if you stay with me until the end of this video, I'll prove it to you in such a simple way, that you'll never look at money the same way again. But before we continue, do this now. Leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Because this kind of content doesn't show up for people who want to keep living an average life. It shows up for those who are ready to change their lives. Now imagine the following situation. You wake up early, work all day, sometimes even do overtime. You put in effort, you get tired, you give up time with your family. And at the end of the month, nothing changes. No real progress. No freedom. No sense of moving forward. Just that repetitive cycle. Work, get paid, pay bills, and start all over again. Sound familiar? This happens to millions of people every single day. And most of them believe in a very dangerous lie. If I earned more, all my financial problems would be solved. But the truth is, there are people earning 2,000, living better than those earning 10,000. And that doesn't make sense, until you understand what's really happening behind the scenes. There's an invisible mistake. A simple mistake, but extremely powerful. That is draining your money without you even noticing. And no, it has nothing to do with lack of effort. Much less with lack of intelligence. In fact, you were conditioned to make this mistake your whole life. Since childhood, no one taught you how money really works. In school, you learned math. But no one ever taught you how to handle money. No one taught you how to make it grow. And that's exactly why. Today, even working hard, money comes in, but it never stays. But relax. Because from now on, you're going to start seeing something most people never notice. And once you understand this, there's no going back. Now pay very close attention to this. Because the mistake that's keeping you stuck is not how much you earn. It's what you automatically do with your money the moment it arrives. Simple as that. There is a silent pattern, almost invisible, that most people follow without realizing it. It works like this. Money comes in. And immediately, it already has a destination. Rent. Electric bill. Credit card. Shopping. Small expenses that seem harmless. And before you know it, it's gone. But here's the point that almost no one realizes. You're not running out of money. You're being programmed to spend before you even think. Let me give you a very simple example. Imagine that every month you receive a bucket of water. But this bucket has several small holes. Some are big, like rent and bills. But most are small. So small that you don't even care. A snack here. A subscription there. An impulse purchase. A reward because you worked hard. Now think about it. One small hole doesn't seem like a problem, right? But many, at the same time, they empty the entire bucket. And that's exactly what's happening to your money. And here comes the most dangerous part. These small expenses feel good in the moment. A sense of relief, of reward, of I deserve it. And you really do deserve it. That's not the problem. The problem is that you were taught to use money as an emotional escape. Tired? Spend. Stressed? Spend. Bored? Spend. Without realizing it, you start associating happiness with consumption. And that creates an extremely dangerous cycle. You work to earn money. And then use that same money to relieve the stress from work. Do you see the cycle? You are paying to stay stuck. Now let me tell you something that might hurt a little. But it's necessary. If you earn more, without changing this pattern, you don't become richer. You just become more efficient at spending. That's why some people earn more, and still have nothing. Because the problem was never the income. It was always the system. So, what do people who actually save money do differently? They're not smarter. They're not luckier. And often, they don't even earn more. There's only one difference. They reverse the order of the game. While most people do this. Earn, spend, if there's anything left, save. They do this. Earn, save, live on the rest. Simple. But extremely powerful. But there's a detail that almost no one tells you. And this is exactly where everything starts to truly change. Because saving money is not just about discipline. There's a strategy behind it. A way to do it, without suffering, without feeling like you're losing something, and without needing to become a different person. And that's what we're going to talk about now. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of most people. Now I'm going to show you something so simple, but so powerful, that it can completely change the way you handle money starting today. And the best part, anyone can apply this. Even a child. Imagine that every dollar that comes into your life goes through a filter. But this filter isn't automatic. You have to create it. And this filter has a very simple name. Pay yourself first. Let me translate that in a very simple way. Every time you receive money, before paying any bills, before spending on anything, you set aside a portion just for yourself. It's not what's left over. It's a priority. But how much should I save? Start simple. 10%. If that's not possible, start with 5%. If that still feels difficult, start with 1%. What matters is not the amount. It's the habit. Now think about it. If you've never paid yourself first, how do you expect to build anything? Today, you work the entire month. But everyone gets paid before you. The bank gets paid. Companies get paid. Bills get paid. And you? You come last. Always. Now imagine reversing that. The day money hits your account, you take a portion and save it. No negotiation. No second guessing. No waiting to see what's left. Just that one move changes everything. But wait. Because here comes the part that makes most people give up, and that's exactly why almost no one moves forward. People try to save money, but keep living exactly the same way. Same habits. Same expenses. Same decisions. And then it hurts. It feels like a sacrifice. It feels like you're losing money. But there is a smart way to do this. Without suffering. Without pressure. Without that feeling of depriving yourself of everything. You don't need to cut everything. You just need to start paying attention. That's it. Over the next few days, watch where your money is going. But without judgment. Without guilt. Just observe. That coffee you barely even enjoyed. The purchase you made on impulse. That thing you thought you needed, but wasn't really that important. When you start seeing this clearly, something changes automatically inside you. And then, saving money stops feeling like an obligation. And starts becoming a conscious choice. But there's a next level. And this is where people really start building true wealth. It's not just about saving. It's about making your money work for you. Because as long as you're only trading time for money, you will always have a limit. But when your money starts working, that limit disappears. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about now. How to turn the money you've started saving into something that grows on its own, even while you sleep. Now pay close attention. Because up to this point, you've already understood two things most people ignore their whole lives. First, the problem isn't how much you earn. Second, you need to pay yourself first. But there's a third piece to this puzzle. And it's what turns saved money into freedom. Saving money doesn't make you rich. Saving money gives you security. But what really builds wealth is making that money grow. Now think about it in a really simple way. If you save money and just leave it sitting, over time, it loses value. Because of something that many people completely ignore. Inflation. Everything gets more expensive. And your money, if it's not growing, in practice, is shrinking. So let me show you in a way even a child could understand. Imagine your money is like an employee. If you leave it idle, it doesn't work. Now, if you put it to work, it starts bringing more money to you. And something powerful happens. You no longer depend solely on your effort. This is the point where ordinary people separate from those who build wealth. Because most people work for money, while a minority make money work for them. But how do I do this in practice? Relax, let's simplify it as much as possible. No complicated terms. No confusion. There are basically two paths people follow. The first is the path of survival. You earn money, spend it all, and at most save a little. But you never make that money truly grow. The second is the path of building. You earn, pay yourself first, and take that saved money and put it in places where it can grow. And here comes something very important. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to understand enough to start. In the beginning, the most important thing isn't earning a lot. It's creating consistency. It's making it automatic. Imagine that every month, you take that percentage you started saving and put it in something that grows over time. Month after month. Without stopping. Without skipping. Without giving up. Now let me show you what really changes the game. Something few people truly understand. Time. Money growing on its own is already powerful. But when you combine it with time, something almost magical happens. Small amounts start to grow. Then grow faster. And then, much faster. It's like planting a tree. At first, it seems like nothing is happening. But underground, the roots are growing. And when you least expect it, it starts to show, and doesn't stop. Now let me tell you the truth no one likes to hear. At first, it will feel slow. It will feel like it doesn't make a difference. It will feel like it's not working. And this is exactly where most people give up. Before seeing the results. Before the turning point. Before the moment when everything starts to accelerate. But those who understand the game keep going even without immediate results. Because they know they are building something bigger. Now think about this. What if, in a few years, you had a portion of your money working for you every day, without you having to do anything? Money coming in, even when you're not working. This isn't luck. It's not magic. And it's not just for people who earn a lot. It's the result of small decisions. repeated long enough. But now comes the most important point of all. And this is where most people mess up even after understanding all of this. They try to do everything perfectly. They want to choose the perfect investment. They want the perfect timing. They want to understand everything before starting. And because of that, they don't start. Meanwhile, those who start simple, imperfect, but consistent, end up getting farther ahead. So remember this. Better to start small, than wait for the perfect moment. Better to make a few mistakes, than to stay stuck. Now, take a second and think about your life today. If nothing changes, where will you be in 5 years? Doing the same things. Stuck in the same cycle. With the same problem. Or you can start now. And completely change the direction of your financial life.